up next on Good Company. Join us.
This is Cindy Brucato. When a child...
Steve Edelman.
I'm Sharon Anderson. Coming up today on Good Company, we'll see the personal side of Eyewitness News reporter and anchor Marcia as we go to her home and meet her family.
Also, our field host, Gary Lumpkin, is going to give us a look at Gopher football, both on the field and behind the scenes.
And we'll meet the man who has been turning out hit country and pop tunes since 1946, Eddie Arnold.
All that's just ahead on Good Company.
From the Twin Cities, it's Good Company. With your hosts, Steve Edelman and Sharon Anderson. With roving reporter Gary Lumpkin and the Good Company Company.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome, everyone. I got a little test for you at the beginning.
Test?
A little test. And I'm going to stand up here, so you have to kind of pull out for me. Now, take a look. See this?
Yeah.
What's wrong with this picture?
I haven't a clue. Why?
Look at these sleeves.
Oh, a little long. Did your arm shrink? What happened overnight?
Well, I went and bought a new shirt. Yeah, that's what happened. I woke up in the morning, and all of a sudden, my hands disappeared. That was a very bad night.
You're taking off weight in the wrong places.
I don't know. You know, when you buy new shirts, you got to specify how long the sleeves should be, and I think I forgot here.
Uh-oh.
Terrible?
Terrible.
Oh, well.
Well, it'll keep your hands warm if it turns cold.
Great idea. So we have a real treat for you this afternoon. We have with us Marcia from Eyewitness News, and as you probably know, Marcia has been with KSTP TV for guess how long?
Well, over 10 years. I remember celebrating her 10th anniversary here.
10 and a half years. And now, of course, she's anchoring the news. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her life with her husband, Phil Ross. Phil is also here. He is a singer and an actor, and we decided backstage that he is therefore an acting singer, because he's more a singer than an actor. We'll learn about that. Currently, he's appearing at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater in The Fantastics. Would you welcome, please, Marcia and Phil Ross.
You don't get that applause at night when you're doing the news.
No, you don't. You see the camera, and you don't know who's out there until you go out on the streets, and people say, hi. You know, they know us. It's wonderful. They welcome us into our homes, just the way they do you. You know what it's like.
It is, and it's great.
I was so surprised to learn, as we were talking this morning, that the first time you ever came to KSTP TV was to perform together.
Right.
That's right. We were an act and show business. It was a very brief career, about 2.5 years. And we played Minneapolis, the Twin Cities.
You were singing together.
That's right. We were singing with another couple. And we were back and forth, and we were great favorites on all of the local talk shows and stuff. And when the circus broke down and we stopped being on the road, we had been treated so well at KSTP. It seemed so professional. We'd done a number of the noon shows that when I was looking for a job in television, it was the first place I called. And I lucky.
And you were hired.
Yes, that's correct. I was. And then the rest is history. It is not true that I was put into this building with the cornerstone. I mean, I did have there was life for me for KSTP. But it's an exciting way of backing into a new career.
And you two have been married for how long?
Oh, about 15 years.
Long time.
Give or take a few years.
Give or take a few.
Well, how did you meet in the first place?
We met doing the leads opposite one another in South Pacific, the old musical. She was Nellie and I was Emile, and that's how we met.
You were washing that man right out of your hair. It didn't work.
It didn't work. It didn't work at all. We ended up.
Got stuck.
Yeah, we started friends and ended up married, and we're still friends. Isn't that lucky?
So it wasn't love at first sight. You grew into this relationship.
That took a while.
Yeah, we were friends.
Several years, actually.
Actually, the first time I met Philip was in an audition, and he, as you can hear from his speaking voice, he has a very large baritone singing voice. We were standing next to each other sharing a book, and he sang in my ear, and my first impression was, I don't think I can do this. I'll be totally deaf by this, because this big sound, I wasn't used to that, because I was just you know, real amateur type singer. But it worked out. I learned to listen, and I used to plug this ear so he could sing to me.
But if you were singing together on the road, you probably came a long way from being an amateur type singer.
Oh, I was a tremendous business manager and a real good MC and a female baritone. And I held up my end. I looked pretty good, and I did things like incorporate us.
Oh, you were the MC.
I was the MC. And
Took care of all our money and made sure we didn't
starve to death.
starve to death someplace in
No, it worked out.
Iowa or something.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of singing, we have a videotape clip of the two of you singing together currently. But at the beginning of that, let's take a look at that clip now. We're going to see how the home that the two of you live in now, is this new or have you been in this home for a while?
Oh, we've been in here for 10 years.
10 years. And you just added on to it, I
Now,
guess.
folks, that looks like a farmhouse, but don't be fooled. It's 10 minutes from the IGS Tower. And it is an old farmhouse. It was built between 1910 and 1913, and there's a big addition on the side of the house, which serves as living room, family room. And here's my secret, folks. I don't have children. I have adults. You're seeing my sons, Chris and Todd. That's Todd. He's 20 years old, just returned from California. He was working on oil rigs out there. As a matter of fact, he had his own rig and came back and decided to rejoin the real world and make real money, like, you know, minimum wage. This is Chris. He just graduated from the University of Michigan in June as a voice major, very musical, and he'll be working for Campus Crusade for Christ out in California. This is my passion. You throw all kinds of seeds in the ground and you see what comes up. It's not very orderly, but I like gardening because it adds order to it. My job is a disorderly job. You never know what's going to happen. With a garden, you plant something and you have it come up, and it sort of reaffirms. Now, this is our front yard garden. We used to have a backyard garden, but they built a house over it. And we lost a couple of elm trees, and this is Phil's garden. He takes care of the vegetables. He is now playing with the tomato plants and the cucumbers. And so we dug up a hole in the front yard, and it's a little eccentric.
Looks pretty good.
And one of the things you do, of course, when you have a gardener in the family is you have to can all that junk.
Sure.
And that's your job?
That's my job. This is the first step. One gets the skins off the tomatoes. That's the first thing you learn about canning is that you have to... Now, this is a little bit of the inside of the house. This is the dining room. And everything there means something. The furniture Phil and I bought for $40.
Where?
At a garage sale in Toledo. We're from Toledo, Ohio. This is Phil as Buffalo Bill out at Chanhassen. He did the role, and this was one of the set decorations. I think that's wonderful, don't you?
Yeah.
And our living room, this is the addition. It's
Ooh, that's
about
nice.
25 by 30, and it's all cedar wood. Very comfortable, very family. We don't have another family room, that's it. That's a picture of Phil's aunt and mother. And this is our family portrait, folks. We don't do this a lot, but it sure was fun to do it for Good Company.
So much for tradition, huh?
After that, he pulled the piano thing down over the keys and crushed Chris's fingers, so he'll never play again.
We're going to have to
Oh,
break
nice.
away for just a second. We're going to be back with Phil and Marcia. We're going to take questions from our studio audience. Stay with us.
That friendly nurse is sure courageous, 'cause breath like yours could be contagious.
Brush your breath, brush your breath.
We're back again. Our guests, Marcia Fleur from Eyewitness News, Phil Ross, actor, singer, and also married to Marcia Fleur. By the way, how about that issue? Married to Marcia Fleur, you know, she's on television. Is that an issue at all?
Not yet.
Could we make it into one, do you
Oh,
think?
well, whatever you want. No, it's never bothered me. I don't know whether it bothers her or not.
Did you get
I
that?
tell you, it bothers a mailman because he has to deliver mail to Marcia Fleur and Phil Ross, and then our boys use our legal name, and he gets very confused.
He thinks we live in a hippie commune.
You know, that really does confuse a lot of people. People ask Sharon and I why we have different last names. What's your explanation for that?
Well, my last name is not exactly a real good showbiz name. It starts with a Z, and that doesn't make it usually. I'm not telling anybody who's got a name that starts with a Z it's not a good name, but mine just isn't a nice, well, it's not a showbiz name anyway. And the same way with her.
Well, now you know everybody wants to know what your last name is.
Zaug.
Zaug.
It's ugly.
Now you see
I auditioned. No, Fleur was my name, and when I auditioned here, I auditioned and I did 2 stand-up closes for the news director that I was auditioning for, and one was Zaug and one was Fleur, and I said, I suppose you noticed that I used 2 names, and he says, yes, and Zaug's got to go. I mean, he didn't, so that was it. I stuck with Fleur, and he's always called me Marcia Fleur anyway.
I did a show with Dorothy Lamour, and Dorothy Lamour told me that I was fine singing and acting, but I should never, ever use that name. I would not make it if I didn't change it.
So naturally, he chose something, he went, because he looks so German and the name Zaug is German, he chose something Scottish, Ross. That's all right, at least it's not Mick Ross. That would confuse people.
Right.
We have a little tape that we wanted to show you about Marcia's career at KSTP, and why don't we take a look at that right now? Where is this one going to start? I think it starts with you before your career at KSTP.
That's right. Starts
all the way
long
backwards.
before my career.
Yeah.
Starts when I was a baby, with her mouth open. I was destined at the time. My parents were wonderful people. They said, you know, you can be anything and do anything you want. This is growing up with all the black curly hair. Don't get confused, folks. I became a blonde for South Pacific when I met Philip, and it sort of stuck. There was a blonde inside me trying to get out, and I always knew that. This is in Toledo, Ohio. By the way, this is me, glamour. Yeah, I was a school teacher before I went on the road in show business. This is what you call a reformed school teacher. This was our group, and this picture was taken by a gentleman named Seymour in Chicago, who said,
Maurice Seymour.
don't bother wearing makeup, I'll do it all. And here's the working girl. This was taken last winter at the Capitol, sitting on the floor, stretching out with a microphone, trying to get the news. This is the Mondale campaign in 1976. The fellow on the right in the picture is Bill Plant. He's the CBS correspondent at the White House. It gets real boring on campaigns, folks. 55 cities in 19
The farmers say that
days.
each day they keep this surveying truck tied up, they've won a victory. The company figures it another way. United Power says each day's delay just costs more money, and eventually these same farmers are going to have to pay the price. This is Marcia Fleur, Channel 5 Eyewitness News, Meeker County.
Eyewitness News, the Northwest's most complete, comprehensive, and up-to-the-minute coverage, with meteorologist Dave Dahl, sportscaster Larry Burnett, and newscaster Marcia Fleur.
Good evening. 3-year-old Gilletta McCrary of Maplewood is with her mother tonight. The little girl had been missing for 5 days and was finally picked up by police last night in Iowa. With her was the 19-year-old woman accused of abducting her. This afternoon, Gilletta flew back to the Twin Cities with a Maplewood police detective, and our reporter Dave Andrews was with them. And this is the last publicity picture. That spans quite a bit of career in there. And I was, of course, political correspondent for a long time, and now as anchor, doing something quite different. Had to give up the political beat because nobody works 7 days a week. And I miss it a little, but I like anchoring. It's a different career move. I feel as though you've seen all of it.
Is that something you've always wanted to do, Marcia, as anchor?
Oh,
Ultimately?
it's a next logical step, I think. If you have, I could stay a reporter. I like the street. I like working with people. I like working with the cameramen and the editors in the newsroom. I still get to do that. I have a little more responsibility, I think, as an anchor. And on the weekends, it's just a marvelous, tight-knit group of people who makes sure the news gets on the air at 6 and 10 or 5:30 and 10, and it's a different kind of excitement. I find it very exciting.
We have here in the audience the other two people in the family that we saw on the tape. This is Chris and Todd Zauk, who are Marcia's children. How is it? Children, yeah, really, children. You are what ages again?
I'm 22. And I'm 20.
Not exactly children. What is it like growing up with a mother who's a celebrity? Is that an advantage, you think? Do you get some particular special treatment because of that?
Well, I think sometimes, you know, when you go out with her, you have to shave and wear nice clothes. You know, because some people say that's, you know, is that Marcia Fleur's bum or what is it? But it was interesting. I guess I mostly look at it as I kind of see her just at home, you know, being the masochistic Twins fan that she is, listens to every game on TV, and I look at it more that way rather than a celebrity in the house.
Yeah. Tell me something about Marcia Fleur that people don't know, Todd.
She is an ecstatic Vikings fan, and if they don't win, she wants to throw things at the TV set. She is an incredible sports fan, and a lot of people might find that hard to believe, but she really enjoys most every sport on TV, so Chris and I have no problem convincing her, you know, to watch the TV on the sports programs or anything else like that.
Did you ever feel you were in competition with a career?
Never. Todd and I both were doing tons of things when we were in high school. When I was in college, we were going all different ways. You know, we never really saw her, and she, you know, was just kind of coming and going in the night, and never really. We were our own people.
Yeah.
Kind of nutty. Whole family.
Sounds like you've had a good time growing up together.
It's been exceptional.
Yeah.
We have a very close family. It's a very different family than most people are used to, I would suppose, with my father being an actor and a singer, and a very good one, I might add, and Mom being a news reporter or an anchor now. But it's a pretty interesting life, and I've really enjoyed it. And it's a fantastic family.
Yeah.
Except for Chris. He really is. You watch it. You watch it, boy.
Marcia, what have you learned more from, being a mother or being a news reporter?
I don't think you can separate the two. When I got into this business, the boys just 10 years ago, so you know how old they were. They were young. And I was learning the business at the same time I was learning being a mother and learning to be a working mother, learning to be, to have a career that was all-absorbing. I'm talking now about 60 and 70-hour weeks. I'm not talking about all-absorbing where you're, I mean, it's time-consuming, and everybody had to work together, and I think I'm a different kind of mother, and Phil's a different kind of father. He was house husband for 3 or 4 years there, where there wasn't a lot of acting being done, and he needed to be home. So he did, who's ever there does it.
It's so nice of both of you to come on and talk with us. You know, it's a pleasure to get to meet you in a kind of a personal way. And thank you both for joining us as well. Okay? Bill Ross, Marcia Fleur, a pleasure.
Weight Watchers work, and to prove it, we'll give you a 1/3.
Tomorrow night is the big night. It's the Miss America pageant, and we have, of course, Miss Minnesota down in Atlantic City right now, Lori Sarnon, who is competing all week and is getting ready for the pageant tomorrow night. And we thought it'd be interesting to have someone in who's been through it and knows all about what is going on for Lori this week, and that is Miss Minnesota 1980, who's seated right here to my right. She's Deborah K. Goodwin. Welcome,
Hi,
Deborah.
well, thank you very much.
We have Lori on the phone right now. Why don't we go right to Lori and say hello and see what's going on, okay? Lori?
Okay.
Hi, Shan.
How are you doing?
Great. I'm having a super time.
What's it been like?
Oh, it's so exciting, and everybody treats you so wonderful. It's an experience that you have to go through to believe it. It's just wonderful.
Is it nerve-wracking, or what are you feeling right now?
I've actually been pretty calm about everything, I think. I think I have my hardest competition tonight, which is talent. And I'll get to rehearse with the orchestra this afternoon and see how it goes. I run through it a couple times and then do it tonight. But the caliber of competition down here is excellent. And I think everybody is in for a great show on Saturday night.
Oh, I'll bet. Did you know that we have Deborah K. Goodwin here in the studio with us, Lori?
Yes, I do.
You two have worked together, I understand.
Yes. We know each other very well.
Since Deborah's been through this whole thing, do you have any questions for her?
I really don't think so. I think she knows that all you can do is get down here and do your best and see what happens.
How about some advice?
So I just told her, I talked to her a little bit earlier and just said, Lori, just do your best and have the best time and just never get down. That's about the best.
How does it look for you now, Lori? Do you think you have a good chance at making Miss America?
Oh, I think every girl here has a good chance. I think there'll be a lot of girls left standing on that stage who aren't even in top 10 on Saturday night that would have made excellent Miss Americas. But I'll just do my best, and we'll see what happens on Saturday night.
After seeing a little more from the inside, do you really want it?
Oh, yes, I think everybody here wants it.
Yeah.
It's something that's really exciting. I talked to Elizabeth Ward over lunch yesterday with a few other girls, and, you know, she told us the less glamorous side of it, but yet, you know, she said that it's still so wonderful. It's something that it's just a wonderful happening to go through. Her attitude was very strong about everything. You do get run down during the year because of your schedule, but everybody does everything possible to make it a wonderful year for you.
I'll bet it would be hard just getting through the week without feeling run down, isn't it? How do you get to sleep with all the excitement?
I have had no problem sleeping because by the time I get to bed at night, which is usually around 12 or 1, I'm so exhausted that I'm not nervous at all, and I can sleep very peacefully.
Well, we certainly wish you luck. Do you have any message at all, Deborah, for Lori?
I just wanted to know I'll be thinking of her the whole time tomorrow night. It's a difficult time.
And we all will be thinking of you and watching and rooting for you, Lori. Good luck.
Oh, well, thank you so much for calling.
If you do win, we'll see you on the Today Show.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't win, you'll be here on our show Monday. Right?
Either way, I can't lose.
Okay, great. Good luck. We'll be watching tomorrow night and wishing you the best.
Thank you so much.
Have fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I can't imagine what that pressure must be like during the week. It must be overwhelming, isn't it?
It is at times, and also in turn, along with the pressure, the excitement and the glamour of it all is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. And I think that's what keeps you motivated and keeps you going through the whole pageant competition.
Is there a great deal of difference in the amount of money that each state spends on their representative?
Yes, there is. They range from, I was given $1,000 as Miss Minnesota, to some states supply their girl with as much as $15,000 to $20,000.
To cover what?
To cover the wardrobe, grooming costs, haircuts, makeup, everything. So what it is, it's just kind of a case of being real frugal in my case, or being very flamboyant and extravagant.
Who spends the money? What states spend a lot of money on the girls?
The southern states are real big spenders.
Yeah.
Texas is a very infamous one, that you always hear about Texas and how much they spend and what goes on in their preparation.
Does that give them an advantage, you think?
I think the only thing that really gives them an advantage is the fact that they can be more lavish as far as gowns, and that may draw more attention. But I think that it shows that they place a lot of emphasis or importance on the whole pageant system. And in that emphasis, they tend to have their girls more prepared and more well-groomed. You know, maybe not even because of financial, just because of the emphasis.
What was the highlight of the whole week for you?
I think the highlight of my week was I was lucky enough to win the swimsuit competition on Wednesday night, and that set the pace for the whole week. And it was so exciting because you see the runway on television, and to walk out on that runway and to know that you're really there, because so many times you watch it as a child and you pretend that you're Miss America, or, you sit there so excited, and to really be able to walk out there and have won something. It's such an exciting feeling, and to know that regardless of what happened, that you had worked yourself to that potential or that level, and you had made an accomplishment right away. And then the crowd just is ecstatic, and you can imagine the people from Minnesota were so excited because they're all just behind you the whole way.
And the attention that you've been getting all week is just elevated when you win something like that.
Yes, because people start making bets. Actually, Atlantic City is known for its gambling. Well, they start practically making bets on the girls.
Yeah.
So
What does it feel like not to win? You went into the final night with high points, obviously, from winning swimsuit. Is it tough not winning?
I think at first the toughest part is realizing that you have to go home and face your state, and they'll say, well, why didn't you win, or why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that? But you know that you've done your best, and through the whole coaching or through the whole procedure of getting prepared for the pageant, it's important to realize that you're doing your best, you're working to the most potential you can, and that you're the best person you can be, and that maybe that they didn't want a Debbie Goodwin as a Miss America that year, and that regardless of what happens, that you feel good about yourself. So even that night when they announced the top 10, I was still happy. And it was definitely a relief in some ways, because then you know what direction your life will be going.
What direction has your life taken? We're just about out of time, but people want to know what you're doing.
Well, what I'm doing right now is I'm finishing up my degree at the university, and that was my main intention in entering the pageant competition, was a scholarship, so I'm using my scholarship. So working with girls as far as pageant grooming goes and image grooming goes.
Good for you. You're passing it on, what you've learned.
Yes, it's first-hand experience, so it's very helpful.
Good. Well, good luck to you.
Well, thank you very much.
In continuing your
I enjoyed it.
education, and thank you for giving us a little
sure.
insight into the Miss America pageant.
No.
Have a good one. We'll be right back.
This season, it's easy picking.
I remember grandmothers. I have a little quiz for you.
Okay.
After the Beatles, Elvis, and Bing Crosby, who is the fourth largest selling recording star in history?
Barbara Streisand.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, let
I
me
don't
guess
remember
again.
doing an interview with Barbara Streisand.
What do you mean that was going to lead into Eddie Arnold?
That's right. Yes, that's right, Eddie Arnold. It is the number 4 recording, what am I saying, most
Selling.
popular, yeah, largest selling recording artist in history. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
And I think maybe for people who are under 30, a lot of people may not even remember Eddie Arnold, although when you hear his music, you certainly will. He had his first hit record in 1946, and it was called That's How Much I Love You, and it was recorded on a 78 RPM record. Remember those?
Sure.
Well, of course, he's had many hits since, and right now Eddie Arnold is performing out at the Carlton Celebrity Room, and during his performance, he sings all of those hits. We should give you the number right now and tell you that he's going to be performing tonight in 2 shows and also tomorrow night in 2 shows. So if you want to go out and see Eddie, he is performing. He has a big show around him.
At the Carlton.
At the Carlton, right. And as I said, he is doing all of his hits. And we got a chance to go out and take a look at his show. And we saw him perform one of my favorite of his hits, which is called Make the World Go Away. Remember that one? Let's take a look at it right now. The King of Country, here he is, Eddie Arnold, at the Carlton Celebrity Room, as he performed last night in his opening night.
Make the world go away and get it off my shoulders. Say the things you used to say and make the world go away.
Oh, you got to
Earlier in the day, I sat down with Eddie Arnold and talked about his family and his long career in show business. Now, I know you came from a musical family. Your folks both played instruments. Did they influence you a lot?
My mother came from a musical family, rural family I'm talking about now. And she played the guitar a little bit. And she taught me some little chords on the guitar.
By the time you were 30, you had 9 hits, right? Did that go to your head?
I didn't think so. Maybe some people thought so. I didn't think so. I'll never forget what my mother said to me. My mother's not alive anymore, but one day I was sitting talking to my mother, who was a typical rural woman, good woman. And one day I just thought, well, I know she probably doesn't really understand what has happened to me. And I thought I would just tell her about it. And I sat down with her one day, and I said, you know, I've made a lot of money. She said, yeah, I know you have. She wasn't impressed. Wasn't impressed a bit in the world. Didn't mean anything to her. I'd had 4 million selling records. She was proud of me. I was her son. She was proud of me, but that didn't matter to her.
Did that bother you that she wasn't impressed by your accomplishments?
No,
Did you
I
want her to
understood.
say, hey, you really
I
did
understood
well,
it.
and
I understood it.
Yeah.
But I just thought, well, I'll tell her.
You still spend a lot of time on the road, I know, but what's your life like when you're at home?
Well, at home, I go to the office. I have an office. I go to the office every day when I'm there. I have a secretary. I answer mail.
And you have a lot of other enterprises going
Yes,
on.
yes.
Real estate.
I have some
Farming.
investing,
What else you
investments.
do?
No, I don't farm now. I
You're
don't-
not out there.
No, I don't
Tilling the
farm.
land.
I have some land, but I don't farm. A lot of people, I used to have people come down and say, we want to see you farm. Well, I said, man, there it is, the bushes and briars. I bought this land. You know, it's just an investment to me.
You're not going to work.
They thought I was planting row crops, and I wasn't.
Do you think about retiring?
Yes, 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 and I will. I will.
When will you know when a time is right to retire?
Well, when they don't like me anymore, you know, you can feel it. I'll be kind of like the ball player, you know, the baseball player. When you get where you can't hit that home run, I'll know it's time to hang it up. Because I want to quit while I'm still ahead. I don't want to dribble off and be doing things that I shouldn't be doing, or performing in places I shouldn't be performing. I mean, when the time comes, I want to quit.
You've had so many hits, but Cattle Call may not have been the biggest hit, but it seems to be the song that's most identified with you.
It wasn't the biggest hit either.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think it's the biggest thing I ever did in my life, and it was not. The reason it's so well remembered, the fact that I was on radio for many years, and it was a signature song. I came on the radio with it and went off with it.
The cattle are prowling, the coyotes are howling, way out where the dog is born. Where spurs are a-jingling, a cowboy is singing this lonesome cattle call. Singing his cattle call.
It is cooking time. Our chef, Craig Olson, is here, and he seems to be whipping up a dessert here for kids that looks like it's phenomenally good. Some kind of ice cream situation you have here?
Well, it is. It's ice cream, and it's Oreo cookies, and right now I'm making the base for the ice cream part of it. And I'll turn it off so you can hear me.
Good.
Now can you hear me?
Now, what is this?
Okay, what I have in here is...
Wait, this is a dessert?
This is a dessert.
For kids?
Well...
For anybody?
I mean, you and I'll eat it.
Okay.
All right, well, of course, who's bigger kids than we are, right? Yeah. Okay, what I have in here is I have a cup and a half of powdered sugar, and I have a fourth of a pound of butter, and I have some vanilla, and 3 egg yolks, and I have 3 tablespoons of cocoa. Okay?
All right.
And what you want, you have to get this really mixed up well, so it's, you know, it's nice and very smooth, okay? Then, when
is that a base or something?
That's a base for the ice cream.
Okay.
Okay, because what we're going to do then is we're going to put that all on top of these chopped up, or, you know, Oreo cookies. All
Okay.
right?
You want some help?
Yeah, you got spatula? You go ahead, do it.
All right.
Because once we get all this on, then we start piling the ice cream on. And this is so good. And then we're going to put pecans on top. And then we're going to put more.
Oh, man.
Try for the pan.
I'm sorry. I really did not mean to do that.
Oh, you did too.
No, that isn't true.
Yes, you did.
Years ago, I would have done that. Now,
You can just set those there, because I'm going to lick those in a minute. Like
Okay.
I used to do when I was a kid. Did you do that when you were a kid? When your mother would make frosty, quick grab those, and would you take them out?
I had the only mother on earth that never baked a thing.
Oh, you're kidding.
Never baked a thing, really.
What'd you do, go out all the time?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah, really.
Hey, Mom, did you buy that yourself?
Yeah, no, she did some things, but she just did not like to
She
bake.
sewed, right? She stayed home and sewed.
Well, no, she
She didn't do that.
Now that you mentioned she didn't sew.
Oh, Mrs. Edelman, we've got to have a talk with you after the show. Anyway, you spread this around, and for some reason it's not spreading terribly nice, but that's all right.
Why isn't it spreading?
I don't know. It's for some reason it's catchy. I know why it's not spreading, because the dummy here, dummy, forgot to put in the egg whites. Anyway,
yeah, that was supposed to be
into
added
this
to this.
mixture, you would have added 3 egg whites that were stiffly beaten, and you would mix that in, you see, like that. Then you would put all of this mixture on top of the Oreo cookies.
Well?
Then you would go over here and you would get ice cream. Now, it has to be spreadable. So you have to have it a little moist, right? All right.
now that I'm really not making a mess of this. I didn't do that on purpose. I totally forgot the egg whites. I know now I'll be fired, I'm sure. But at any rate, put on the vanilla ice cream. Spread that, will you? Will you spread that?
I'm reacting to your last joke.
Do say something or do something, or because I'm dying out here.
No, you're doing fine.
Oh, all right.
It's your recipe that's dying. You're doing a great job.
Spread it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
Actually,
what
we should point out that this is an excellent recipe.
It is, because I've got a finished product that'll just really, wow.
Okay. Where do you get these recipes?
From my mother and my sister.
Really?
I mean, am I 40 pounds overweight for any other reason than we have wonderful recipes in the family?
Okay.
All right, what you'd do, you'd put that in the freezer and let that freeze. Then you'd put on a layer of chocolate ice cream.
Okay.
Okay, put that back in the freezer and let that freeze. Then you'd put on a layer of peppermint ice cream. You see, like this.
Well, that sounds good.
Doesn't that sound good? Then what you would do, magic of television, will pretend this is all done. You would sprinkle on a few more Oreo cookie crumbs, like that. And you would take a cup of pecans and sprinkle on like that. All right.
That sounds good, doesn't it?
Now, because this counter has gotten to be such a mess, we're going to move down here where it looks a little better.
All right.
Slide all that over here. And, folks, here's what it looks like if you had
put
the egg whites in. All right, now doesn't that look good?
Excellent.
All right, let's cut it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
Oh, you want to cut it?
Sure.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
All right.
Lord, where's this vegetable?
Just cut it like a cake, I assume.
Yeah, you just cut it in squares. And if you really want to be sinful, of course, you would put hot fudge sauce on it, too.
Hot fudge sauce.
Hot fudge sauce.
Great idea.
Well, here, cut it
How's
bigger.
that?
Yeah, cut bigger pieces.
Well, I have like a quart of ice cream in every piece here.
Yeah, right. That's
All
what's
right.
fun about it. Okay, and you just lift that out.
Ooh.
Like that.
Gee, that looks good.
All right. Take a bite of it.
Okay.
Take a bite, quick.
Okay, quick.
It's so good.
Quick. You're going to get all of it. You are.
Isn't that base good with the egg and the powdered sugar and everything?
Buddy,
Isn't
this
that
is
good?
a complete winner.
Well,
It really is excellent.
and
We'll pass this out to the audience. We'll have we'll put it back in the freezer and give. Okay. All right.
Got a
All right.
deal?
Just great. That's great.
I'm gonna have a bite.
What a terrific combination, too.
Well, and what's nice about it too is that you can, obviously put it in the freezer and keep it for what, a month? If you
Sure.
want to. Sure.
We want to mention, if you'd like to get a hold of that recipe, you can send in to us at Craig's Recipes, Good Company, KSTP TV, 3415 University Avenue, St. Paul, 55114, and we will be more than happy to send you a recipe, and please include a self-addressed stamped envelope, and we will send that to you. Also, if you come down to our studio, we're going to pass out those recipes right here, so we'll have some for you, I hope, of course, we don't have this one yet.
No, because I haven't written it
Former
up
week's
yet.
recipes.
Right. Those they can have, not today's.
Good idea, buddy.
Perfect for a nice hot summer day.
Yeah. Craig Olson, our chef.
New Trident Mints invites you into a whole new world of cool, a world of icy freshness. New Trident Mints, shivers of frost.
Watching the cooking segment back there,
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have to come out and defend you. These people turned on you when you took that bite.
I felt that.
Everybody's hungry,
I knew I had to make a quick deal with the audience
Yeah.
here. I was going to be too
It's
popular.
okay, it's how you get some.
Yeah, well,
It's
it is.
funny.
Yeah, it is good. We're not kidding about. We're saving half of it for you, half for me, half for you. Okay.
What a guy.
The whole thing. There's a big happening this weekend. You may be aware of the big opener for the Gophers football team is this coming Saturday at 7 o'clock in the Dome. They're playing in the Dome against Ohio University. And if you'd like to be part of that, there's a number to call. Some tickets are still available. 373-3181 if you want to be there for the big opener, which should be just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Our field host, Gary Lumpkin, had a rare opportunity. He went and he saw the Gophers practicing and some of their initiation ritual. Here's Gary.
It's the start of fall football practice for the University of Minnesota Gophers. And before they ever play that first game, there'll be hours and hours of hard work right here on the practice field. Yes, it's still a game for young men, but make no mistake, a college football practice is serious business. Because if you do it right at practice, you'll do it right at game time. Yes, sir, a lot of time, a lot of hard hours spent out here on the practice field. But there are times for some fun, too. Because for all the hard work they put in on the field, well, here at the evening meals at dinner time, the University of Minnesota has a little special tradition. Kind of fun. You'll just have to watch and see. The meal starts out ordinary enough, but then a strange tapping sound is heard, and it quickly grows louder and louder, and then a hand points out, and one of the freshman athletes is summoned to the front of the dining hall. And as he makes his way forward, he knows this is it. He must soon answer extremely difficult questions.
What's your name? Pat Coughlin. Where are you from? Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. What's your stats? 6'3", 250.
Like I said, tough questions. But then that tapping business starts again, and this time 5 freshmen are called up front for a little music.
1, 2, 3. I got sunshine on a cloudy day.
Well, it may seem like a lot of fun and games, but it really has a purpose. The idea is to get incoming freshmen, junior college transfers, people new to the program, to get up there and sing and really feel a part of the program and a part of the team. Funny thing about it is, it works. Oh, here we go. Next up is one of the freshman quarterbacks, and he is told to demonstrate the way a Minnesota Gopher quarterback calls signals.
152! I can't hear you!
But this audience is very hard to please. So he earns a second task. And before he can finish, the ominous tapping starts again, and quickly another Gopher rookie is front and center. And this time, it's a very special musical request.
Sir, sing louder. Just calm down. I don't listen to music. Hey, we don't teach you to laugh. Buddy up. Sing loud. We don't teach you.
Well, it's really one of the things that makes college football so special. You just gotta love tradition. See you next time.
We have an enthusiastic group here today from St. Michael Church in West St. Paul. Why don't you all wave at us? And representing that group is Father Joe Kennedy, because you have a big event coming up this weekend.
We certainly do. We have our annual fall festival that's located over at St. Michael's in West St. Paul. That's right on the border of West St. Paul and St. Paul on Annapolis Street.
What goes on at the festival?
Well, we're going to have big pig roast. We're going to have bingo and things. There's actually activities for all ages. Besides the bingo, we're going to have pony rides for the kids. We're going to have lots of good food for people who like to eat. We're going to have a lot of homemade pies and cakes.
Now, how does this work? Is there an admission charge? Do you pay for each item, or what?
There's no admission into the grounds, and we're going to have at the ground, some of the free things we're going to have, you can enter into the door prizes. We're going to have slips there. You just put your name on them, and people are eligible for all sorts of door prizes.
Okay. And all the funds go to the church.
And all the funds are going to be going to the church.
Good. Sounds like a good time. And we have up there on the screen, it's from noon to 6 o'clock, and there's a telephone number you can call if you want some more information. Good luck with that event.
Well, thank you very much, Sharon.
You have a good turnout and no rain.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Steve?
There's a big boat show that's taking place right now through Sunday that you can take advantage of. We have free tickets for everybody in our audience today to this show. It's taking place in the Kings Cove Marina in Hastings, Minnesota. As I said, now through Sunday. And if you're interested in that, you can call in for tickets. It's an in-the-water show. In other words, the boats are in the water, so it's kind of an interesting thing.
Also yesterday on the show, we mentioned this fall color tour brochure that you can get, and we got a lot of response. I want to repeat that. The Minnesota Fall Color Guide and Calendar of Events. It looks like this. It tells you when the leaves are going to be turning around Minnesota, and it gives you a driving guide to where to go if you want to see the color tour. What you do is call the Minnesota Tourist Information Center. That number is 296-5029, and they'll send this out to you free. They are a little hard to get a hold of, it seems. A lot of people are calling in, but keep trying.
Coming up on our show on Monday, we are going to have a close personal friend of Humphrey Bogart who will be telling us what life with Bogey was really like.
And also, we're going to get some financial information, how you can use your money to the best advantage and actually make money in the 80s.
Also, Barbara Holmes will be with us to tell us all about what's new in the soap world. So, we hope you have a nice weekend. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Fall.
Pepsi Challenge and let your taste decide.
Not many people will read all 100 proposals of Warren Spanniss's Minnesota plan.